This is Martin Hansel, and we're in Slovakia sitting with two-time Honor Classic champion Kai Greene. Kai, first of all, welcome to Slovakia.
Thank you. It's a privilege to be here.
How was your trip?
Excellent.
I'm glad to hear that. I want to speak a little bit about your training and your competitions, but if we go back in the days, do you remember the first time you ever visited a gym? Your first workout?
First workout, probably not. It was so long ago, it was probably about 22 years ago. Yeah. No, but I can't remember the mindset back then. The mindset then was I probably didn't realize that I'd begun training. It was something that was an expression of something that I wanted to do, but didn't really quite understand all of what it was.
When did you realize you were such a talent in bodybuilding?
You know, they say desire is the expression, the universe's expression of potential. So now, looking back as a grown man, I probably would imagine that the first time I just naturally thought to try to do something in the way of exercising or trying to develop my body, I think it was the expression of some kind of awareness unconsciously of potential to do something well. But I can't say exactly that I had all the answers the first time that I sat down and tried to do it.
Did you have any people you looked up to in bodybuilding back then in the days?
Absolutely. Aaron Baker, Lee Haney, Sean Ray, Dorian Yates. The more the more excited I realized I was about this particular subject, and the more I realized that there was literature and material available about this subject, the more I began to learn about the names and the faces that were associated with higher success within the subject matter.
You've been that's maybe an understatement, successful now the last years of competing. Do you remember your first contest?
Yes, sir. The first competition I ever done, I was around like 14 or so, and it was in a different organization than I compete now, yeah, I was about 14 or so, and it was the first time in my life that I ever experienced something that I'd never experienced before, and that thing was a success that had nothing to do with my pedigree, you know, where I came from, had more and all to do with just my own ability to work really hard. And if I work hard at it, you know, I could achieve something that was in my own hands to do. It wasn't something that someone else can give me or take away from me. And that was one thing that I really appreciated about this experience from the beginning. So through that, it taught me work ethic. It taught me the importance of having a good work ethic. It taught me about the importance of being able to become a visionary. In other words, to see a idea in my mind or in a place as it did not exist yet, and understand, though, that through my work and through the constant efforts day in and day out, I can bring that vision into reality. So it was something that I fell in love with.
Well, you did everything. You did your competitions pretty well because you went on to the Team Universe. You won the overall title there, and I also remember you were in Slovakia 1999 on the World Championships, IFBB. What do you remember from that competition?
I remember 64 countries being represented in the World Championships that year, and I was very excited to be there. It took me 3 years before then to actually win my way on the U.S. team to go to the World Championships that were being held that year in Slovakia. Um, though we worked really hard, I placed sixth. And then two countries failed the drug test that year, as it was a drug-tested event, and I moved up as a result from sixth to fourth, and it was a tremendous accomplishment. I was the heavyweight representative of the United States NPC organization to compete in the World Championships that year, and it was a tremendous accomplishment. But I didn't get my pro card that year, unfortunately, and went back to the United States and New York a little bit more confused about what was the next step in my attempt to one day get my pro card.
Keeping Slovakia in mind, do you know about any Slovakian pros?
Slovakian pros.
Okay, if I tell you name.
What a trick question.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a hint. Pavel Jablonitsky, is that ringing a bell?
Pavel, yeah, absolutely. I watched Pavel compete numerous times personally in New York. They had a show called The Night of the Champions years ago, and Pavel was one of the champions back then that made me think while sitting in that audience, wow, if he can do it, why not me? I remember maybe the last couple of times that I actually saw Pavel compete, I remember thinking, wow, I felt inspired. I felt very inspired. He became one of the influences that would encourage me, even though he didn't know me, even though I never spoke with him personally. It was a very inspiring thing to see him succeed and do so well, and it made me think about what potentials lay dormant beneath my surface.
We also have Jaroslav Horvath. Is Jaroslav Horvath? Not ringing a bell. That's okay. You guys are pretty many in the pro circle, so.
Wow. Yeah, I don't want to take any credit away from his work. I sit here though in this moment, caught off guard, but I definitely respect his efforts.